Hey, Kliq This fans, want to get closer to the show than ever? Join Kliq This TV. Kliq This TV offers early commercial-free access to wrestling's hottest podcast, plus live audience tapings of their show every friggin' week, and your chance to participate with Kevin and Sean in the monthly Nash and Friends watch-along show. Head to KliqThisTV.com now and get inside the show that's just too sweet.
Following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
I'm exhausted. I'll tell you, we do. For anyone that doesn't know, we get together with the live audience before the show. They get some of the pre-show meeting if we have to go over some stuff. And it's the first time that, I mean, Kevin and I talk on the phone during the week, but it's the first time we see each other and the guys, Wesley and Steve and Dom, and we're all together. So
it's invariably.
Yeah, a team meeting, but it becomes the frat house.
Yeah.
For 45 minutes. Seriously, if you want the best stuff, and if you like the show, Kliq This, the Kevin Nash podcast, which you're listening to right now. If you like this show, you really should join Kliq This TV to get the best part of the show, which is like
absolutely no politics.
The 45. There's no politics.
No politics.
A lot of making fun of the other workers. Clips being shown of some blown spots in AEW on referee's part, maybe. But yeah, I mean, it's and so by the time we go on the air, I'm like, oh wait, we gotta do a show, and that's where we are.
Yeah,
exhausted.
Hey, good luck getting a second nut when you're 64.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go watch something. Go have a sandwich.
Take a nap and lay in a fucking infrared sauna.
Kev, I got a little concerned this week when I saw on Twitter for like 5 seconds that Paul and Stephanie were... I saw one report that said they were separated. I saw one tweet for some wrestling website I hadn't heard of that said they were already divorced. And... no reputable. I mean, it wasn't like Meltzer carrying this or anything. But
so my phone blew up at because I guess it must have came out around 3 or 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
so my phone blows up, and I'm thinking, oh God, who died?
Right.
So I put my phone, and it's a lot of it's just people, but then they've got where they've just forwarded you the wrestling news, whatever. So I'm opening it up. I'm like, the first time you see one, you're like, and I haven't talked to Paul in a week. So I'm thinking like, well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure if they were, if the divorce was going to be filed, it might have been something we talked about.
Like the LA Knight contract.
Exactly. I guess that was more important. I mean, at that point. But so I text Paul. I said, "You okay? Everything all right? I'm here if you need anything." And he says, well, "What's happening in my life?" I said, social media says that you're splitting with Stephanie. You guys are getting a divorce. And he responds to me, well, fuck, I wish somebody would have told me that before I got dragged to this JV football game and my girl's fucking cheerleading hat. Yeah, it's like, he says, I just love to find out about what's going on in my life, through the internet. He says, it's like, and I'm sure that probably, that would upset me because he finally probably has a day off, where he's just, it's family time and it's just like, no, man, it's like, Some troll's got to fuck with you on your off day.
He's going to see his daughter in the game, cheering in the game. Steph probably that morning said, "You going to go into that shithole today, or you're going to come to the game, Paul?" And yeah, and then you got to deal with life in the public eye, right? I mean, it's what are you going to do? The thing that was weird though was that I'm going to call them news sites, but you know, there's a whole gradient in that term, news, right? But that there's no attempt to verify a story before you carry it. That's like
no, that was always. It's been like that since I was a kid. You know, your front page news when you're being accused, and you're on page 25 when they fucking rescind the charges.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I've had that my whole life, you know.
Yeah.
Remember when I was in Calgary years ago, and I was doing a shot for Teddy Hart, and some guy just fucking hauled off and punched me right in the fucking face. Like right in the jaw. Didn't hurt me. But I mean, just enough where my mouth bled a little bit because, you know, my teeth, you know, tore into my... And...
This is in the ring or over the
No,
guardrail?
this is at a bar.
Oh, a bar.
I'm sitting drinking fucking a bottle of wine, and I'm sitting at the bar by myself. And the guy just... he had some girls with him. They came over. It was like... After the Magic Mike, the first one, and they were like, "Are you wearing my?" Yeah. I took a picture with him. I guess he just fucking. I didn't look back over at him. I didn't make any. The guy got pissed off, and he just came over and just sucker punched me. He wasn't a small guy, but he wasn't. He was one of those guys where, if I'd have got up and annihilated him, it would have cost me probably $150,000.
Right, and he knows that.
Yeah, they all do. You know, so it's just like, you just have to I've learned, man, you just stay in your house, stay in your room. Like, that's one thing that I miss.
It's not fair either. That's
but
it's not part of it. Shouldn't be part of the deal.
But see, I wore my shirt today. My boy on it. It's the Scott Hall tribute shirt.
Nice.
And I wore it because it's just like, I miss that so much that every time I was on the road doing something every weekend, that I always had my fucking, like, we had each other's backs.
Yeah.
I always knew, man, if I was dead, if they found my body dead someplace, that they were going to find Scott's right next to it, and vice versa. And that's, you know, of all the things that I miss about not having my friend, besides laughing like a motherfucker, but just knowing that somebody truly has your back.
Yeah.
You know?
I hope you felt that way in the Longhorn in Nashville when me and Steve Kaufman were with you. If anyone jacked you, man, me and Steve probably would have finished eating first, and then we would have been all over that motherfucker.
I knew I thought you guys were setting me up just because Steve had that orange rental.
Easy to spot for the hit.
And then he runs. He's in I mean, not Tennessee orange, but Clemson orange. And he fucking rifles through a red light going 60 to 35. I'm just thinking like
we were hungry.
Because, of course, we were in stealth. Nobody could see us.
We had our invisibility powers in the General Lee flying down the Duke's.
That actually got big brownie points. I'm thinking to myself, like,
Steve defending himself, saying he was going the speed limit.
Yeah, Steve was looking up on the highway and saw 65 fucking speed limit sign. He figured it was the closest one to the road we were on, so he'd use it for that too. Don't you hate that when you go someplace and you especially like Ohio's one of those states that's notorious for it, where you're on a back road and it'll be like 55 miles an hour, then all of a sudden it's just like the sprinklings of one of those little 800 people towns start to show
So
up.
it drops to 35.
But they don't have a sign anywhere.
They do have a cop in the driveway
Oh
in the
yeah,
back of a gas
yeah.
station. Though.
Oh yeah. And so, like, my wife and I went up to see our friends in Pittsburgh, and we ended up staying in Cortland, Ohio. That was the whole story when I went through the house with the fucking
With the
knife.
butcher knife.
Yeah. But that fucking it was treacherous. But at least if you use your phone, it'll tell you what the speed limit is, in that area. So at least I had that going for me. But I mean, there was one point where it was like 55 to 25 in like 8 yards. I'm like, what the fuck? So I guess if you use
out-of-state plates too.
Yeah, if you use Waze, like they'll tell you where but they'll also have you using somebody's roundabout at their house to fucking get through traffic.
The thing with Waze, and they do have it on Google Maps now too. Someone has to put that in first. So if you're driving through one of those towns in Ohio at 9:00 at night, no one's passing ahead of you. Not enough people are passing ahead of you to have one of them get into Waze, probably. So,
well, the thing that was crazy was, like, there was the sheriff in, I guess, that county, and their cars were they were white cars, but they were accented with like almost an aqua kind of green color with gold, and it was like the hood and a stripe along. I mean, this motherfucker looked like a spaceship when your headlights hit it. And so it was like they were giving if you weren't slammed, hammered, drunk, you were like, okay, that's definitely a cop car.
a little bit of a warning sign.
Yeah, basically anybody, they pulled up almost to the road too, so just like you picked that up immediately. So
Saturn Boy listened to us last week and said, thank you guys for playing Sophia in its entirety at the end of the show. It always gets me a little emotional when thinking about how tough this last year has been for me and a lot of the people I care about. It's become one of, if not my favorite song. Very good, Saturn Boy. Shout out to
you know what?
T.
I was talking to Tam, and she says, does anybody know where T got that from, like Sophia? And I said, I don't think I've ever brought it up. But he, one of T's favorite movies was Vanilla Sky, and Sophia is the Penelope Cruz character. And so
You told me this off air, and I was surprised by that. Yeah. Very good. Well,
he had. I was sitting the other night. I was watching a film and it's always weird because I watch a film. I'll be like, God, I forgot how good that film was, and then I'll be like, who did I watch that with? I'm like T. Do you remember?
He was up at night with you. Right?
Yeah. Do you remember Tenet that came out?
Didn't see it.
Steve, you had to have seen it, right? Tenet it's with Denzel Washington's son is in it. Anything?
He has.
Yeah. Okay, so it's one of those movies that you watch it, and it's something like. So I watched it downstairs, and T watched it upstairs, and it was. He came down. He paused his and came down and saw that I was watching it, and then he finished it and came down. He said, Dad, did you watch that? I said, yeah. I said, did you? He goes, I guess. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I'd like to watch it again with you and get your take on it. And I said, I'd like to do the same, because it was one of those things. It was just like, it was.
Was it a confusing ending? Why? What was?
It was just. Steve, what would you? It was a Nolan movie. It was like Inception. It was those layers of, but it was time. and the ability to use time, and it was you can't even explain it. You just have to watch it, and then if you're a mouth breather, then it's like, fuck, good luck.
So did you end up watching it again?
Yeah, we watched it again. We watched like a couple of days later, and I think it was just because I think we were too hyper focused the first time, and then we kind of knew, so it was a lot more enjoyable. That's like the first time I watched Interstellar. I didn't enjoy it nearly as much as I did watching it on an airplane. Also, my son had passed away, and it was it gave me some different conceptual ideas of how I could see him again through, there's the girl, his daughter, is in a room, and she has a ghost, and the ghost is pushing these books out of this bookcase, and it's kind of a post-apocalyptic world they're living in. It's like a dust bowl. If you haven't seen the movie Interstellar, if you haven't seen it by now, it's not a spoiler because it's like fucking a Rosebud was the sleigh. So, but it was Matthew McConaughey was her father, who had came back through like basically a black hole wormhole, and pushed it. And it was him, and then they go back and they save the world, and he goes in, and he hasn't aged, and he goes in to see his daughter, and his daughter is like would be like his mother or grandmother's age. And she's got all these grandkids. Like life went on for everybody else except McConaughey. And he promised that he would come back to his daughter, and she hated him for it. Then she realized, that he had come back. So it was kind of cool.
Wow. And a heavy viewing.
Yeah.
Billy Batson.
That's what you do. That's what you take. Like, if you want to know if you got the right girl, you take her to something like that. Because then if she gets in the car and she just goes, I didn't get any. You just go, you know what? Fuck that. This is not going to work. Because I'm not going to sit around and watch Friends the rest of my life. So fuck that.
Depends what her ass looks like. Billy Batson says, Kevin and Sean are the best in the business. The podcast continues to get better and better. All right, well, Billy, we'll keep doing it for you then. How about that? Gregory Krug, it would have been amazing if Kenny Omega taught the 8-year-old how to blade.
Well, it wasn't like we bastardized or made. I thought it was an amazing piece of like skill that he was able to, on both.
Turnbuckles were a little stiff. Turnbuckles were a little stiff.
Like you said, she took him like Bret Hart.
She took him like Bret, man. She really did.
It's funny. I'm looking over here on the side, and Steve says that one of his friends refused to go to Oppenheimer because he felt burned by Tenet. So,
did you see Oppenheimer, Nash?
I don't know if we talked about it. So CNN had a 2-hour special on Oppenheimer, like the Sunday before it came out.
Okay.
And they had like interviews with Oppenheimer, and they told the entire story with like the real footage and everything else. I'm like, so yeah, it makes a lot of sense for me to now go and see this actor's rendition of the guy I just saw cut fucking promos. That was the dude that did all this shit. Like, it didn't make fucking sense to me.
That's the first time in history an Oppenheimer interview has been referred to as a promo. See Oppenheimer cutting the promo on the A-bomb?
Yeah, fucking that whole fucking Manhattan Project shit, man. Fucking, they were trying to keep that shit kayfabe. Not so much.
Eric Bischoff here again, telling you about our friends over at SaveWithConrad.com. Now, Conrad's always talking about how they are helping homeowners save money, but did you know that Conrad and his team can also help you become a homeowner? They make the home buying process more enjoyable than, I don't know, making out with Stephanie and Linda. Ouch! But don't take my word for it.
Hi, I'm Sarah Davis, and I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. So my husband has been a huge fan of Conrad's podcast for many, many years. And for years, we were on road trips, and he would have me listen to it. And then I got really into it. And so when it came time for us to buy a house, it was kind of like, there's really no other option at this point. Like, we have to go down this path, right? It was the best. I worked with Steve. I don't know what to do. I was looking more for preparing to buy a house. How do I get this in order? What does this need to look like? What do I need to move around? What's more important that I pay off first? Because I'm a first-time home buyer. I don't know what that needs to look like. So that's when I called you guys and I talked with Steve, and phenomenal from day one. I got a full education on home buying before I was ever asked to fill out an application, before I was ever asked to do anything, which is just, I mean, I cannot brag on you guys enough. I literally cannot tell enough people about you, because we would not have a home if it weren't for you, if it weren't for that interaction and weren't for the learning process. And I feel like I went into being a first-time home buyer by the time we got through the end of the process with the same education that people need 4 or 5 homes to buy. And so now I feel like, all right, well, we can do this. We can do real estate. I can actually make good decisions and ask good questions at closing and beyond because of everything that you taught me. My name is Sarah Davis, and I got into my dream home with Save with Conrad.
And unlike the dirt sheets, we're not making this up. Check out all the 5-star reviews. Go to SaveWithConrad.com and do it today. You'll be grateful you did.
NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
Falcon 7832 wrote, "Oh, that Boebert break was magic." Enjoyed the Boebert car wax commercial. And also, Mexican Boy said Sean was on fire with that hand job commercial. Enjoying the Boebert.
Did you see they had, it was on Instagram, where they had, like, you know, you get like a Halloween package, and it was a conservative Christian representative outfit. And it had the low-cut, came with a low-cut dress and a push-up bra, and it like just named all the things that came in this package. That was just, I found it amusing.
How many people are going to go to parties dressed as Lauren Boebert now with like a fucking dildo and, you know, their tit out? Or maybe not out, but a hand. Maybe I would put a hand.
I don't know. Once she's part of the vote that shuts the country down, I don't think she's going to be fun.
Maybe.
You know what's amazing is everybody knows on both sides that there's people in the House that just want to fucking fuck the country up, and they're going to do it, and they'll probably this will be it, you know.
Bigger the disaster, the better. Yes.
Yeah.
Because they're to serve the country.
Because they're like
themselves.
In Alabama. I don't know if anybody saw this in the last couple of days, but they basically had like 2 districts that were majority black voting districts, and they had cut one of them out, and the Supreme Court said you can't do that. You've got it, and they came back with but not really, right? And the Supreme Court's like, no, motherfuckers, we told you have to, and so I think it was Gates that said the other day, like, well, if they fucking do that, we don't have a chance. Like, if they actually make this a fair fight, we don't have it. You can't do that.
A very big part of the GOP strategy every year is suppressing as many votes as you can, because there's so many more people of a different economic strata than they are interested in serving. So you got to keep those people out of the polls, of course.
That's like when you make laws in places where it's 100 degrees when you vote that you can't hand out water. Like what?
Mm-hmm. Right, because the lines get long, and you want to make it
because
as uncomfortable as possible. It's unbelievable. It's heinous.
You want to equate voting to a week in Auschwitz as much as possible.
This whole thing's going upside down when this goes online. When there's a foolproof, encrypted, impossible to crack voting system online, you log in and you cast your vote. Game changer. Game changer when every person has access to voting on their phone or on their laptop.
Yeah, but you're still on a social economical. You're still gonna have people that are gonna fall through the cracks because they don't have Wi-Fi.
Far fewer than if you
go
out in the rain.
But still, it's still gonna not be a fair ball game.
Chris Martinez, I love the idea that it's not an ordinary wrestling podcast. There's 100 million of those. I like the bar feeling of shooting the shit with your friends where you talk about many things. Never change, guys. Well, we won't. Well, I will. I want to go on Wegovy. I want to lose weight. I have to lose weight. I have to do this an artificial way. This is cunty to say. I have to do it. I have to do it to get my triglycerides. Although I've been very good with that. I should get another blood test to prove this to you, Kevin, and the rest of the world.
Hey, dude,
that I do have self-control.
I want you to fucking do it for yourself, and I want you to do it for your children.
I know.
Because I know what it's like to lose a dad.
Yeah.
And it sucks. And it just... But let's not put that negative energy out in the world. So it just
pasta might be worth it. I mean, a good homemade pasta.
That's what I always said. Like, why couldn't like German chocolate cake be the equivalent of like liver? Like, oh God, I gotta eat fucking more German chocolate. I gotta eat what? What do you mean I got to eat another key lime pie? Because, like, we grew up poor, so it was like you got on a good week, if things worked out right, on a Friday night, you might get a fucking Little Debbie oatmeal cake.
Yeah, but, well, like you say, it's always the things that are most enjoyable that are bad for you. I think was your point.
But then again, blowjob's not bad for you. Great for your prostate health.
Yeah, it depends on the guy that's doing it, though.
Yeah, it's true, right? If it's your rabbi or your priest, that's fucked up.
Or is it for respect?
I think it's for respect.
Out of respect,
out of
respect. Go down on.
Yeah, just one time, out of respect.
Tom Talker 2000 says, I lost my mom and two very close aunts in the span of 2 years. Mom to pancreatic cancer, one aunt to old age, the other to dementia, and just found out today my other closest aunt has breast cancer and needs a double mastectomy. So Kev is right. It is a dark world out there. However, I come to listen to Kevin, Sean for inspiration. If we all could just set aside such petty political strife and differences and focus on what's really important, which is the here and now, then maybe, just maybe, we would do a little more understanding and compassion. We would be a little more understanding and compassionate for each other, because life's just too short not to, folks. Read that right after the blowjob segment, by the way.
I completely agree, but at the same time, let's just make it well known that one of the GOP thought patterns is to cut Social Security and to cut Medicaid, Medicare, for budget purposes. So, but not to tax billionaires. I mean, God forbid, because that fucking trickle down's been working so well.
Yeah, that was a boon in the 80s.
Yeah.
Poor really benefited from that.
Yeah, well, the only fucking people that the clubs were on fire, and Coke was $100 a gram, so that was the trickle down. If you were slinging Coke, Hey, I'm getting a little run here. What do you mean 7 years? Yeah, 7 years, motherfucker.
Wolfie Wolfdog, I disagree with Kevin Nash's politics, but that doesn't stop me from listening and being a fan. Dude is cool and guaranteed could get along with just about anybody because he's a good guy and a great entertainer, and that's what matters, in my opinion.
But I was talking to somebody the other day, and he listened to our show, and he said, the only reason I listen to our show is because there was another guy in the gym. He said that how left you were. He said, "Fuck, dude." He said, I'm a Democrat." He said, "You're way more to the center than I am." He said, and I said, I said, at this point, does it fucking even matter? I mean,
well, that's the divisiveness is entirely political. I was talking to somebody the other day, and she's like, my husband wants to fucking move to Portugal. This guy's a Republican too, and she was like, he can't take both sides. It all always comes down to some kind of political division. It's like you almost can't talk about anything else.
It's impossible.
I go on the news for not just what's going on in Washington, but I want to see the shit that was going on in Philly, which I saw tonight. I want to see all of it, and you have to scroll through Supreme Court, Congress, about to shut the fucking country down,
but my wife and I say this: it's like earthquake in Turkey. Fucking fire in Maui, like the news cycle on those stories is so if it gets a 10-day run, it's amazing. Shit gets a 3-day run. That's it. It's played out. They don't give a fuck. Like they showed some people coming, that they allowed some people back to Maui, and they showed that that horrific aerial view that looks like Hiroshima, and but they were told, like, you can come back and basically you can look but don't touch because there's so much poison and toxin,
right? And
then I think everybody forgot about the Steve, I won't remember the town, but it's where the train had that chloride.
In Ohio, it was.
Yeah, it was I can't remember. The town's got a kind of a weird name.
The Middle Eastern name.
Yeah,
he'll have it in a second. This is two men over 50 trying to do a podcast. All right, so just
yes,
East Palestine.
East Palestine. Which is that's kind of a different.
Let's call it Palestine. We'll call it Palestine.
Palestine, and but anyway, they had a town hall, and I saw Cuomo covering it, and it was on YouTube because for some reason DirecTV, wherever he went after CNN, we don't get him anymore. I was always kind of a fan of his because I thought he was kind of a straight shooter. I thought he had political aspirations. I thought that he could have done something, that he might have been, like down the chute. And then, man, they just kind of went in and threw the fucking harassment flashbang at that motherfucker, and his life was over.
That's all it took, right?
And
he was ready to throw down with those guys that called him Fredo. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They caught him on tape, ready to go.
Yeah.
That's a man.
No, he fucking was going to, there was a couple of times he was going to throw down. I like Cuomo.
But you're right. The news cycle only fits what, the old saying, all the news that's fit to print, right, is the New York Times. Well, it's all the news that's fit to print below everything that went on in Washington, and
or like in the middle, that middle column on the Wall Street Journal. that little, you
a
know,
little narrow.
yeah, just slip it in there.
Above the fold, but squeezed in the
Yeah.
middle. The 3-day run, you called it. That's interesting. That they call that the Aldo Montoya, by the way. But yes, the train gets the Aldo Montoya run.
I guess the 3-day run, and it's Portuguese man of war. You're sorry, we have to give you your walking papers. Speaking of,
Alex the Luchador, I was flipping burgers at Culver's when my wife found out we were having a girl. My phone went off. I let everybody know in the kitchen. We cheered and went back to work. Fuck gender reveal parties.
I don't get it.
I'm with you, Alex.
My wife told me that I guess Monday was Daughter's Day, and this Thursday is Son's Day. I'm just like, really?
If Hallmark says so, I mean, what? I mean,
It's like what? I said, I'm sorry, I'm sticking to, you know, we had, June 12th is when I became a father, and that was when my son was born. So Father's Day is June 12th, and Son's Day will be June 12th, and worst day of my life will be October the fucking 18th, and it goes on.
right. Look, tonight's Daughter's Day. As I'm sitting here
Is it?
paying for college,
Oh.
hunched over a desk with a pinched nerve in my neck. Yeah, this is college night. This is a daughter's night. Tommy
Let's-
Damon,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
thank you both. You've made me laugh so much today. My face hurts so much. Thank you. No sarcasm. All right, Tommy. I'm glad you enjoyed the show last week. And last week, a week ago, if you're listening on Monday here when we drop, like many do, what do we get about, what do we about on our Mondays? Like 30,000, right? Like, so a lot of you do listen on and watch on day one. A week ago, we got to spend an evening with our closest friends on Kliq This TV, but also with RJ Ciy.
Great guy.
For what was an awesome show. A lot of great.
Very, very. I don't know, man. He just that was. I just really enjoyed that whole evening. I left here with a smile on my face. I drove home with a smile on my face. My wife said, "You're in a good mood," and I said, you know, it's so weird in life that you do a fucking low budget movie. You meet two guys that end up being your friends for life,
Right.
but you don't see each other, talk to each other, but here and there. But when you do, it's just like you realize what made them so special the first time you met them.
Right.
You know, and I think that's with so many people. And that's people sometimes will say to me, like, why do you still like to go out and do the autograph signings? And I just like, every time I go out, I meet somebody that is like it changes it may just change my perspective on something. I met a cop from Chicago, and he was with his wife. Mm-hmm. They had went to the Alabama Mississippi game. She goes to Alabama. Very very Trump, but like very common. Like we were talking football, we were talking about college, we were talking about SEC, and it's just like there was no difference between us.
Right.
And it's like there's always this divisiveness to the point of you're a radical if you actually believe that we're going to end up in a civil war. Like this country's going to have a civil war. Number one, fucking the left doesn't have enough guns. Just like, I mean, fuck, it's like, it's not even, it's like, you know, it's like fucking, it's like, fucking Shaq going to the Olympics, and he's on his, he's just gets to fucking walk around, and he's playing in the fucking wheelchair basketball. It's like, fuck, come on, man. Like, we're outgunned, man. Like, there's not gonna be a civil fucking war. Like, nobody's.
There's not enough people kooky enough to want to take action. They were at the Capitol, and half of them are in jail now. So
yeah, but there was a lot of people doing that got involved, but there was also like a lot of people. Like, I forget the song is "Nothing Draws a Crowd Like a Crowd," and I believe that to the bottom of my. It's just like nothing draws a crowd like a crowd. Hey, man, what the fuck's going on over there?
on there, yeah.
Now,
Gucci.
If you just happen to fucking have a canister of bear spray, maybe you're lying to yourself. But how to me is fucked up is that January 6th is, man, it's just that could have turned into the Alamo so easy. That could have been if they would have came fucking, because man, there wasn't no National Guard fucking anywhere around. They would have came fucking with like. Did you ever see when they came into the Michigan state capitol? When
they were going for what's her name?
They didn't get Whitner.
Gretchen. Yeah.
Yeah, Whitner. That's her name, right? Whitner. She's. We'll go into that. But anyway, they fucking showed up at the state capitol, man, with like 20, 30 guys with fucking M16s. And I know if I'm the governor and I fucking skate that one, next time fucking there's going to be fucking fighting positions in the hallways like before you get to my fucking place.
Yeah.
But I guess that. How do you feel about this? Did you see the poll where it was like Trump 59 and Biden 41?
It was such a work.
Yeah. I don't know if they really ran with it on like MSNBC because everybody is so fucking just guilty of trying to fucking ruin everybody's day. I want to scare you. What's the worst thing that could happen? Trump's going to fucking come in the first day he's going to pass a law where he's going to be the dictator. We're going to be just like, in 3 weeks, the United States will be hungry.
Well, fear is the greatest motivator.
Oh. It's just
I remember after 9/11, the next election, which was 2004, I was still working in downtown Manhattan, so I would take the ferry over to the Wall Street exit, the Wall Street Pier 11. And up until the election, now remember we were in Afghanistan, and there were servicemen on the pier on both sides at the ferry with M16s. I mean, we were seeing in this area a lot of artillery, weaponry, which you don't normally see. That's the mark of a third world nation when the cops have to have machine guns.
But if you grew, I lived in Europe, and when you would go to airports or anything, everybody had a Heckler and Koch full on. I mean, it just wasn't. England, no. Every other place in Europe had basically paramilitary police units.
But listen, but the point of this, so they're on the pier. I'm seeing them every day. Makes you feel safe a little bit. A little off-putting to see rifles. But the day after the election, they were gone. We were somehow safer after the 2004. Once Bush got in, we saw that. We saw we were constantly reminded of the threat. We were constantly reminded that we were in a dangerous place. We saw the I guess it was Army with the guns in the fatigues walking around us, constantly reminding everyone we're in an international crisis. We're in a threat. You're in danger. And the day after the election, they were gone. Because it was an optic. Fear is a motivator.
Yeah, I mean.
But RJ Ciy, I wanted to go back. You mentioned, some people might not know this who weren't in the live session via KliqThisTV.com, that you mentioned how many times do you get to do a film with two guys. You met RJ not in wrestling, but on the set of
Right.
Monster. What is it?
Monsters Brawl.
Brawl. Right. Please don't confuse that with Monsters Ball. And
no, because it got awards.
It got, and which
Didn't
was
Halle
about what,
Berry-
zombies in
Didn't
the ring?
Didn't Halle Berry get a Monsters Ball?
Halle Berry was in Monsters Ball. I don't know.
Did she get
awards?
I thought maybe that she got the Oscar and Denzel got it for Training Day that year. Both the actor and actress.
It is possible.
We're both
It is certainly
black.
possible.
That year it was the first time.
What was?
What do I know?
I did the voice of her father in a flashback in a bathroom by a mirror. Was that it? Did I do that one? I don't know. Gothic?
I don't know that. King Kong ain't got shit on me. That's what Dom said.
Let's share with the fans a little bit of the RJ Ciy night of fun.
So I end up working for WWE during the pandemic for a year and a half because they need people who can just talk at their computer. And here I am. They gave me a WrestleMania late night special in between nights 1 and 2 a couple years ago. So I wrote this whole thing. It's an hour long. It's basically me on Zoom with a bunch of different wrestlers doing bits and stuff. And they flew me to headquarters where they filmed the bump is where I filmed this. And I thought, who's a first guest? It's got to be someone I have just a rapport with. And Kevin is the first name in my head. Let's start hot with my dear friend, Kevin. He is the first call of the day. I'm in this office. It's like 9 a.m. All of this is scheduled through their talent relations. Okay, everything's set. We sent them the link, blah, blah, blah. Great. 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m., I call the thing. We're on the Zoom. Nothing's happening. Okay. The directors are going, what? Is he not picking up? Can you text him? Can you call him? Okay, I'm calling him. Now I'm sweating because this is the opening is the first thing I'm doing, and it's just not happening.
This is every week with our show, by the way.
Okay, good. So at least he's consistent. And in the melee of what are we going to do, I had my phone on Do Not Disturb. He called me. I missed it. He left me a message. So I played the message, and I wish I had saved it. It is this beautiful monologue of him explaining that talent relations should know that he does not wake up before noon.
Oh, that's it. That's absolutely true.
12:38 today, baby.
That was great.
You know when your mom used to tell you that there's nothing good that happens after midnight. There's nothing good that happens before noon. Fuck
So
no.
true.
It's
Unbelievable.
a bunch of cranky people driving to work, hating their lives. Let them get to their fucking office. Let me roll out and go to the gym and have my coffee and.
That's the Daytona lifestyle, they call that.
Fuck yeah, man.
So if you want to be part of that fun, actually, if you want to see that very interview, it is up at Kliq This. Steve, can you confirm it? It is up, right, at KliqThisTV.com, as well as our time with Vince Russo and Sean Waltman and RVD. You get that. You get the new ones every month. You get that. You get this show early. You get it Friday night, all that stuff. Go check it out. It's only $9.99 a month. What the hell are you going to do with that money, right? It's 2 days at Starbucks, 1 day at Starbucks if you get something to eat with your latte. Our football picks, the DraftKings King of the Mountain. Look at these rankings. for anyone who's following along at home. Look at these goddamn rankings, all the shows on the network here. We are tied for first again. And we pushed. We had one push last week. Rutgers and was it Michigan, right?
Yeah, Michigan.
31-7. We were given.
So we were
24.
talking about this. We were talking about this in the pre, and I got to bring this up because in the 3-day cycle, this will be long gone. So I want to get this because it was. I watched this transpire today, and I watched them actually have banter on a sports network over the fact that Harbaugh had talked to Brady and not to come back as an assistant coach, but to come back and quarterback the University of Michigan because Brady has a year of eligibility left and his NIL would be able to pay him 100 times what an NFL team could pay him. With all the imagine just the amount of Michigan boosters that there are. I mean, so I just thought to myself, like, would that not be like the greatest? Like you're talking about the GOAT, you know? Yeah, he's got. Don't forget that national championship when he was 48. That'd be one of those things would be like, that would just ruin sports. They've already ruined it. That fucking portal, I didn't realize that the portal was actually as fucking quick as the fucking Star Trek one. Man, they get in the portal fucking, they fucking at halftime of the Baylor game, the guy leaves, he's fucking comes back, he's fucking running the ball back for Rice. Like, what the fuck? Where'd they get this guy?
Yeah. So we are 7-4-1. Do we have a standings graphic we can bring up here from the Twitter? Open the Twitter, Steve.
Okay.
Sure.
I can't believe it.
Who is the real number one? We're 7-4-1 because of that damn push. I'm tied with what's the name of that show?
It was actually my call. I suggested we make that bet. So
I wonder what the line went off at when on Wednesday when we have to lock in. It was 20-21, but 24. Yeah, that comedian show putting on airs. So that was so I think they're tied with us at 7-4-1. That's last week's. That's last week's. The one that came out yesterday should have us at 7-4-1. And
if you don't actually see the graphic, it's not going to happen. So
we're going to pick this week. And Kevin, you brought up a college game that you were confident in.
I like Florida against Kentucky. I like that game.
I'm getting a point, so it's.
I just think that Florida is battle tested, and we saw what they did to Tennessee, which gave us one of our losses. So,
right,
yeah, Florida's got a great defense. So,
isn't there a Florida documentary right now? Swamp.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Did you catch it?
So it's funny. It's the only one I didn't watch, and
I was tempted to put it on the other night.
I was gonna watch it, but it's like I don't know why. I've never met the man. Urban Meyer's one of those guys I just want to punch in that face.
There's a lot of that going on. It's Zach in New York on the Jets, and
yeah,
a lot of punchable faces in
it's
football.
It's like Step Brothers. I'd like to fucking punch you right in the suck hole. You know that? Well, it's something I did. No, it's just your face, man.
So Florida over Kentucky. We have in the pros, Miami getting 3 over Buffalo, and we're going back to Detroit. We're trying Detroit here,
Tomorrow
giving a point and a half to the Green Bay. So those are our picks. Florida, NCAA, Florida getting 1 from Kentucky. Pros, Miami getting 3 from Buffalo, and Detroit giving a point and a half to the Green Bay. We'll see where we are next week.
It's so hard to take all of college and all the pros and pick 3 games.
Just pick 3. I know.
You know,
It's got to be the 3 that you feel strongest
Do you
about.
remember the old cards that you'd get?
The tickets.
With the tear off on man, it's like,
That was my first job in high school.
I mean, God, those just.
I used to
the parlay cards and
But those were the fucking sucker bets because you couldn't take less than 3. 3 was the starting point.
Right.
It was like 3 was like 5 to 1. Then 4 was 10 to 1. 5 was 15 to 1. Whenever one got handed in by some moron who circled like 10 numbers on the bottom. We're talking about a football betting. It would be like a ticket, all the games listed on top and on the bottom, the corresponding numbers to the team and the point spread. You circled that, you ripped off the bottom, and you turned it into me if you went to Memorial High School when I was there. But whenever those, you just throw them right in the garbage. You don't even waste space in your pocket when somebody circled 10 of them. That 3 or 4. That was the magic number. And your odds are terrible even in hitting 4 games with a spread.
Oh, God, yeah.
In the pros. But so those are the picks. Let's see how we do. We never got confirmation if there's a prize. That's another thing I have to email about.
It's hard enough to get paid by our advertisers.
That's it.
Did I say that
they're
out
lining
loud?
up. They're lining them up. There's new ones coming in, I think.
I heard Ford. Some Ford Motor Company group
Would love to have Ford here.
God,
you know that that was one of my original pitches. I don't know if you remember this. I went into Photoshop. I did a mock ad of you, a cartoon version of you, like a giant you leaning over. It was either, I can't remember if I did the truck or the Mustang. I designed a convention wrap with stand with Ford and your name on it. I was pitching like a motherfucker. I sent that to Green. I was like, when he does signings, Ford can buy space on the signings. I was all in. Now I just show up Wednesday night.
Especially after that, when you sent me that whole thing on that scam where those.
Cornette.
But those 2 guys that were like, they were down like $1.4 million. How do you continue doing something and somebody owes you $1.4 million?
That's like, I mean, if that money was on the street,
unless you're Tony Montana, and you just.
Even still, it wouldn't have got past 10,000 with Tony.
No.
There would have been a collection, or it would have been the end of that.
Never trust that motherfucker. As far as I know, he had my friend.
That's right, Angel Suarez killed.
Fuck
them and fuck the fucking Diaz brothers. We just got thrown off fucking YouTube. Apologies. One of the greatest films of all time. But we're off. So. Yeah, how do you get to $1.5 million without saying that's it? Your ads are off the show. We did that after about $10,000.
Yeah.
We said no more reads. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Put your drink down and get the fuck out.
Whoever says you was a cop.
Now wait a minute.
Wait a minute, Tony.
Let me get this cleaned up. I'll fix this. Oh, sure. Maybe you can handle yourself one of the first-class tickets to the resurrection. We could do this all night. like me and RJ were doing with The Facts of Life. We could do this with Scarface all night.
I love Scarface, man.
Much more butched up here. Slew of releases. We talked about layoffs at the WWE, right? We talked about 100 people laid off and then included staff and office workers. But I saw the list today. Or yesterday, or whatever. So of the workers, that were laid off. They said, and I don't know if this is possible, they said the layoffs were in an effort to optimize corporate structure and help cut a targeted $50 million. Now, they said targeted, so maybe they're not attributing that number to 100 layoffs. But my God. Yeah, there it is, right? Corporate structure to help cut a targeted $50 million. There's got to be other stuff in there, not just the salaries of these 100 people. But the list, Dolph Ziggler, Mustafa Ali, Shelton Benjamin. So I saw the list of names. And
Dolph and Rick Boggs were two that I was just like, wow, really?
But do you think that
Top dollar,
why touch talent? Because it's not like you're losing TV time. They still have to fill all those shows.
I think what it was like, and I know for a fact that there was a hiring freeze during the merger. So I think that like they brought Nia Jax back at Raw.
Yes.
And they just signed Jade Cargill. So I think they're just opening some spots to move some people, to I don't necessarily think that the talent cuts because you don't cut talent then the next day sign 2 new pieces of talent. I just think that you're restructuring. Creative is also restructuring.
Yeah, it's 22 names or whatever it was. I mean,
it's happened. What's happened? It sucks, man. I remember years ago when they were doing cuts at WCW, and I was Oz, and I was actually rooming with Sting on the road. He was letting me crash on a rollaway, and he didn't. I don't think he realized what a Christian he was even then for putting up with my snoring and not charged me for the room. But I remember
even Christ would have thrown your ass out.
Yeah, he definitely sent me to hell. But I heard about it, so I said, Steve, could you call Dusty? So we're sitting there, and Steve's there on the phone. He's sitting on the bed in the room. He goes, "Hey, Dust, Stinger." Hey, little banner. He goes, "Hey, man, on those cuts, is Oz gonna make it?" He's not, huh? And I thought, man, my stomach just dropped. I said, "Well, looks like I'm going to be looking at Gash come Wednesday." Because I know I got to be back in the strip joint.
Oh,
and yeah. So, lo and behold, before they even make the moves, Dusty got fired, and they brought in I think Bill Watts or somebody like before they could make the cuts. Dusty got cut. So,
yeah. Somebody who also took issue with that number of layoffs was Mr. Tony Khan, who said who made it a point to say that his company was really a family company because they wouldn't throw family out on the street. Quote, "There's not a lot of loyalty at times, and there should be, and this is a family business. We're not a public company. Even if I get punched in the face with circumstances, it doesn't mean I'm going to take it out on the staff by cutting 100 staff or laying off 30 wrestlers, and I really care about the people here. I would do anything I can to protect the jobs and livelihood of the people that work here, and that's a family business, and that's the difference between a family business and a public company in a lot of ways. And not every family business has those principles, but we do. That's just how I was raised."
My question would be to that is, Do you have fucking 100 people in your staff? I mean, if he cut 100 people, would he have anybody on his staff?
Well, maybe he was just putting himself in.
Well, I'm just saying
shoes.
it's very, very easy, to run a hot dog stand and fucking they shut down 4 franchise restaurants at Burger King, and you're like, well, we'd never do that because we only have this hot dog stand.
Right. If the scale of the company was,
exactly, and it was
larger,
publicly traded. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of intangibles. It's the kind of person Tony is. He's not sniping. He's not saying that to be malicious. He's just saying it because he's kind, and he's a kind human being. And I think he loves. I know he loves this industry. So, but it's completely different.
I get your point in that the scale of the company, you can't compare Exxon, to the family trading post
to Occidental,
or AEW investment firm somewhere with maybe a
Capital Group
employees.
That has 875 employees.
It's funny. We're taking shots at WWE here. We're talking about. I was by.
You always.
I have to poke the bear a little to see what happens.
But you know what? Fucking guess what? When you poke the bear, the guy on the other side over here doesn't fucking like it because I'm on that fucking Bears team.
I know Kevin Nash, and Kevin Nash will quarterback for the highest bidder.
Not anymore.
Okay, leave that aside. Unless
I'm
you
just
don't
saying,
want to.
I'm just saying with fucking my son gone. I got no fucking
desire to. I get
nothing.
But I want to say though,
unless fucking it's like $5 or $6 million in a private jet, but then
the prosecution rests.
The only thing that could have got me to AEW, WWE just signed. So Jade,
that's where I thought you were going.
Yeah.
But seriously though,
that's absolutely magnificent.
Jokes aside, you guys, I'm working on Waltman's book, as you all know.
Right.
And when we got to the part about when you guys left Vince and went to WCW, all of you, your feelings never changed toward the company, the McMahon family, and even though you had to leave, even though you went to the competition, even though you guys want to win, you want to win the ratings war, you want to beat WWE, you still I'm quoting Sean, and you can tell me if it's not true for you, but certainly for him, he still felt a part of that family.
Always.
And this is something I guess I didn't realize because I was watching as a fan at the time. You never participated in the on-camera insults of the competition. And
remember when I did like Vince, and I was talking shit to Sid, and I said I don't, and I stopped in the middle of it, and I went, I don't know if it's worth burning a bridge or not doing this skit. But I think Vince knew that was,
And it was the way he put it. He said it was like a don't ask, don't tell. Like Eric was never like encouraging you guys to partake in any of that. And you just kept your mouth shut.
I think that a lot of us looked at Vince as a father figure.
Mm-hmm. Sean had a tough negotiation getting out of WWE. You guys went first, and then he was beholden to a contract that had rolled over, and like the lawyers were like messing everything. Like it was, he couldn't get out. And he wrote to Linda, and she was the one That's it. Okay, let me get the. I'll get it taken care of for you.
So I just wanted to give you an update. I've been paying close watch of the ticker, and if AEW was to let go of 100 of their staff, they would have 7.
So 107 corporate employees.
Yes.
Well, I think talent was part of the 100 in WWE. So you'd have to count 100 of the. You'd have to count however many people are on the roster. Too. So maybe we're up to 150.
29. They'd have 29 people left.
All right. I think he was saying if he were in WWE, probably.
Speaking of Jade, so I'm watching the.
Did she sign officially? Because she was
yes,
still under contract.
No, I watched her walk in. I watched her walk into the performance center.
Okay.
In a crop top with really tight black pants and flip flops with some sunglasses and a headband. Not that I was paying attention.
You want to do a Jade show? We could do a Jade week. We could do an entire episode next week. Explore every ounce of Jade.
Yeah. I mean, let's have her on.
I don't know if she'd be allowed to now, but maybe you can make a call.
Keep it classy.
No, I meant contractually.
Oh, but anyway, and we were talking about this before the show started. So I was watching Raw, and I watched Natalya wrestle. Help me out, guys. Who was the spinning dragon? Tegan Nox. So I watched Natalya wrestle Tegan Nox. And first, Becky Lynch came down, and Becky Lynch looks like Twiggy now. She looks like she weighs like 40 pounds. And this Nox girl doesn't look far behind it. And Natalya, who to me is just amazing, because probably as far as mat wrestling skills in the entire company, men included, she probably is in the top 5. And she goes out there and basically does the let me, and I mean proverbial, let me go and have a match with a fucking broom, because this Tegan Nox is built like a broom. And she basically puts this girl over, and I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, you got Natalya, you got Jax, you got Ripley, you've got Jade, like the women's division, like those are all like 5'9", 5'10", big. I mean, it's just like right now I would have Natalya with Jade, because if you can get Jade
doing what
to do 30% of the mat work that Natalya does, and still keep her high impact shit, she's already got the look. The first time I saw her, I was just like, holy fuck. I mean, she looks like a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
You know? She has that same, and Dwayne didn't have it when he got there, but Dwayne had it like when Dwayne shaved his head. And it was just like, I remember it was Survivor Series. It was at the Garden, and I was supposed to cut a promo. And The Rock went out and cut a promo, and he went long, and they cut my promo. But I remember when he came out and he stood and he did this thing in the corner. I said, I don't know who was around me, but I said it loud enough for people to hear. I said, he's the only motherfucker on this roster that looks better in real life than on the game. I mean, it was just like, it was like watching a CGI, and that's this Jade. She just has that, that thing, man. You know, she looks like, and my whole thing is she's got abs that are just it has to be to a degree genetic because she was a basketball player.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean that's just Kevin. I don't know how to cook. That's all right. We can grub up. She's got a kid. I think she's married.
Those of you listening, we're looking at pictures of Jade Cargill.
Yeah, she's just as they would say in the third grade. I think she kind of super yummy.
You know what they said in the third grade back in the day? That your kid might have been involved in a gang called the NWO in school.
Maybe fifth.
Yeah, it's here. So this is a letter from they struck the school, of course, but it's dated 1997, and it says, I will read for those of you listening. This is from a school administrator to parents. Please be advised that your child was recently reported to the principal's office for being a part of a club called the NWO, New World Order, that imitates new members by punching or kicking them. Oh, initiates. New members by punching or kicking them 30 times. The teacher and I are very concerned, and this is a direct violation of the discipline, blah, 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 policy. Today I spoke to the boys and warned them and blah, blah, blah. So we were speculating on how many factions today got carried into disciplinary action with gang participation letters in schools.
Could you imagine if that right there happened in 2020 or 2023? I mean, you can't. Could you? I could just imagine. Number one, the kid would probably they'd all be arrested, and then I'm sure
the hyper alert that everybody's on. In schools.
And I'm sure that by the time the officer that was in charge of the school got there, he would have discharged his firearm 3 times at the kids. I mean, there's just no way that much violence going on. He's not going to get injured. He's shooting
Philly. In Philly, it would have been through the school bus window.
Oh, he would have. Yeah, he just shot into the monkey bars. Jesus.
30. I wonder where they got the 30 times from. You guys weren't doing anything that involved the number 30. Or
That's just some creative young kids.
Creative youngsters.
Hey, you know what? You got a big enough gang, man. You got to get your shit in. You know, you got 10 guys. Everybody gets to hammer them 3 times. It was no different than dogpiling when we were kids. It's just a little different twist.
I heard they held down the other gang, the Vanilla Midgets.
They did.
They didn't let them get any time in the cafeteria.
And they made them
back
drink
of the line.
They drank the NWO drank all the chocolate milk and made them drink the actual vitamin D.
Absolutely.
Regular milk.
Bunch of dicks.
Fuckers.
Oh, brilliant. Well, they're grown men now. I'd love to hear from some of them.
Hey man,
if they listen.
I guarantee you that they turned out to be the people that are leading this country forward.
Right. And listen, folks, let's talk about sex. This episode, this stiff one, is sponsored by BLUECHEW. Guys, remember the days you were ready to go? Maybe you were with your boys in the schoolyard NWO, and this is probably what you would have been talking about if it were today. How to get rock hard for the ladies. BLUECHEW is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. This is just about confidence in bed, being ready to go and get it done. Okay,
a little initiation with a 30-minute pounding.
That's it. 30 whacks with somebody's rope.
And ended off with a 3-minute orgasm.
Right, and then you had to say respect. to the guy that was above you.
Exactly. Is that BLUECHEW? Respect.
Take them anytime, day or night. Okay, just plan ahead. Pop them. Be ready to go. Process is simple. Go to BLUECHEW.com. Consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, that's it. You get the prescription and the shipment within days. The best part, it's all done online, guys. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations. If you've been listening to this show, you know, because BLUECHEW's been a part of us from the beginning, and it's all over the place. This is a revolutionary service, and it works. We have testimonials we've talked about on the show, and they want to help you have better sex. So discover your options at BLUECHEW.com. Chew it and do it. You get to select which one you want. They all work a little differently. It's a very user-friendly website, and they've got a special deal for our listeners. Try BLUECHEW for free when you use our promo code NASH at checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping. That's BLUECHEW.com, promo code NASH. Receive your first month free. Visit BLUECHEW.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank BLUECHEW for sponsoring the segment. And the segment spotlights Mr. Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was on that, I forget the name of the show. It was the Canadian Sports Talk Show. And a lot of the workers used to go on in the 90s. They covered all sports. It was like an ESPN, like a Sports Center type thing, but they had sit-down interviews. And a lot of the workers would go on. And Hogan was talking about getting older, working and surviving after wrestling and keeping your body intact. And he used Mick Foley. Actually, the host brings up Mick Foley, but he uses Mick Foley.
Do you know that Hulk got married?
Yes, this is his third. Am I right?
Hulk got married. I saw it today. I have not even had a chance to congratulate him.
I saw the headline.
Congratulations, Hulkster.
Congratulations, Hulk. The headline I saw was that Brooke didn't attend, I guess, was the thing I saw. I didn't click the I didn't take the bait, brother. But well, let's hear Hogan here on Mick Foley. This is a little stiff.
9 years of age, as you pointed out. You've been in this business for an awful long time. You've protected your body. How have you done it? How are you still alive and well and kicking and walking in without a limp at all?
Well, my body's trashed. I need to walk back in here for you. I'm limping. And on a good day, I
because I watched Mick Foley on the same riser that you stepped up, and he actually needed help doing that. I mean, the man's body is broken down totally.
Well, everybody has a certain level of respect for themselves. I would probably say I've trained more in the last week than Mick Foley's trained in 30 years. You know, I went ahead while Mick Foley was sleeping and eating cheeseburgers and M&Ms. I was in the gym working out. I work out 2 hours a day. I've been doing it for 30 years. It depends on where you want to be. The early bird ain't no worm. I mean, when these guys are sleeping, I'm training. When these guys are driving at night sometimes and partying and whatever, I'll go back home and I'll train. It all depends on how much respect you have for yourself. Now, nothing against...
Did we need to do the cheeseburgers and M&Ms to make the point? It was a little stiff. Thus the stiff one of the week.
I don't think that the fucking cheeseburgers and the M&Ms affected Mick's gait and ability to go up on a riser as much as fucking going off the top
of cages.
Yeah, being thrown off the top of the Empire State Building onto a fucking moving truck of barbed wire. You know, that's one of those things where Mick wasn't genetically, you know, an Adonis, though he was a very handsome guy when he was young. I mean, he's a good look behind all that beard and shit. Mick's a good looking guy.
Still is in some circles, in those Duck Dynasty circles.
I mean, you know, I saw a thing the other day when Borat was, he went to Ramrod. I went to Ramrod. 200 guys in Ramrod. But anyway, I just look at it, man. I just like, there's one Hulk Hogan and there's one Mick Foley, and that's what makes this business so special. But I don't think that the sacrifices that Hulk made by number one, there wasn't a fucking party he passed that I saw.
Hulk.
You know, yeah. It's just that fucking he was like me, a little bit of a narcissist, and he fucking. If he said fucking cars leaving at 7 for the gym and we were on the road together, he knew fucking I wasn't gonna miss the workout.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just guys that are fucking gym guys. He's a gym guy. I'm a gym guy. Mick ain't a gym guy. To this day, the minute if I check in at 2:00 in the morning to a hotel, the first thing I do before I go to my room is find the fitness area, even if it's a Hampton Inn, and see if there's anything I can possibly use in that thing while I'm there that 1 or 2 days to save me to have to hunt someplace else to do it at.
Right.
Because I've got I'm in Jersey this weekend, and I'm gonna have biceps left on my cycle. So hopefully I can find.
You want me to run you up some free weights? I have in the garage
right.
there. No, you're all right. All right.
Worst case scenario, I just do it. I'll just come home and hit it on Sunday.
Okay. What time you getting in?
I'm in Newark.
Mm-hmm. I can. I'd be able to stand on my roof and hit you with a rock.
We should go to Lookers. It's been a while.
Is it still? I think it is still there.
Fuck, I ain't going nowhere.
It's an institution. God damn it.
Let's see. I get in Friday at 9:15.
Oh, I'm asleep.
Puss.
Florida man or Jersey guy. Real headlines, real stories, and a rather impressive record. A karmic-like ability for Kevin to decipher what activities would be consistent with Florida man or a Jersey guy. Here are the two headlines.
Can I say this before we go into it?
Absolutely, anything you want.
He said, so there was now it's our show. There was a comedian that I saw on social media, and he said, you know, when it comes down to it, America is fucking the Florida of the world. Like you're Florida, man. If you're an American, like he said, I was over in Europe. He said I went to 6 countries. He said everywhere I went, people were like, "What the fuck is up with you guys over there?" And he said when it comes down to it, he goes, and because of us, it pretty much makes fucking Earth the Florida of the galaxy. And he just kind of just kept going with it, and I just said to myself, like, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he's not off. He's not too far off. All right, 2 headlines. Here we go. First one, man arrested for selling box of rocks, saying it was a new television inside. And man arrested after trying to cross the Atlantic in a hamster wheel. Man arrested for trying to sell a box filled with rocks, saying it was a television inside.
I'm going to go on the fact that one of the biggest scams, and I've partaken in it in my life, is the speaker scams, where you sell the giant speakers that don't fucking work.
That are empty. They're the cases, basically.
Well, no, I mean they
no
weigh like they just they're just fucking paper. They're just bullshit. But it's like $90 these 2 6-foot speakers and some assholes, trying to get them in the back of a Pinto. But so I'm gonna go Jersey guy with the fucking box of rocks and hamster wheel with some fucking mouth breather down in Florida.
I swear to God, I don't tell him these before the show. I really don't. And that's correct. There's our friend in Jersey here, and he let's see what the what the rocks were all about. 37-year-old New Jersey man's been arrested for selling a man a box of rocks, but claiming there was a new television inside. Police say that on September 21st, Jonathan Kimball approached a victim at a Citgo gas station in Rock Hill and offered to send him a brand new television in a sealed carton. The victim paid Kimball $400 for the box, but when he got home, he opened the box and he discovered there was no television inside. Instead, there were some rocks placed in the box to give it some weight. Now, there's no way that carrying that would have indicated that there were just a box of rocks.
No.
I think at a certain point, if you're taken like that, you deserve it.
I think I can't believe you would call the cops.
Right, you'd be too embarrassed, right? But he
did they actually get the victim's name?
Oh
no,
for God's
See,
sake.
that's the problem. We should know who the victim is at the same time, because that motherfucker could be picking up your kid tomorrow.
The victim, the one who
the victim when they bought the rocks.
The jingly jangly clanking the television.
I don't want that motherfucker anywhere around me.
He was Kimball of Belleville, New Jersey, was charged with fraudulent accosting and labeled a criminal nuisance, I guess was the other charge. And let's check this
what it doesn't say here is he also said that fucking he was going to throw in Hulu as part of the package. So, I mean,
It's only 6 months of it, though. Then you pay. Let's get the visual on the gimmick down in Florida. There you go. He was headed for England, Kev. How far would he have gotten in the Florida waters?
It looks, with those clouds, it looks like it's hurricane season. So,
my God, you fucking imagine. This is Flagler County, Kevin. This is by us.
Oh, that's right. That's our neck of the woods.
I could see the Funky Pelican pier
Jesus.
right there.
Unbelievable.
What's his name here? Reza BLUECHEW was intercepted by the Coast Guard about 70 miles. He made it 70 miles north.
Oh, no, he was 70 miles off of Tybee Island. Tybee Island
right,
is...
so in South Carolina, right? So
that's north.
Georgia.
That's
Georgia.
He's right by fucking Savannah. That's a 240-mile drive from where fucking Flagler is.
Look at can I see this thing again?
This motherfucker. This is what happened. This guy, if the professor would have fucked Marianne and they had a kid, this would have been him right here.
It might be the funniest thing you've ever said. Yeah, there it was. I don't know if he would have made it to England, but God damn it, he made it a couple hundred miles off of his launch in Flagler.
He sold the first guy a fucking coconut that was a radio.
In a brand new sealed box.
Unbelievable.
There it was.
Just the fucking engineer. I mean, those look like fucking exercise balls. And the fact that it's color coordinated.
Yeah, he alternated.
Yes.
The exercise balls are red, and then the
those look like
lifeguard gimmicks, right?
Or maybe the fucking gimmick where so the boat doesn't hit the dock.
Oh, that's true too, right?
It might be one of those gimmicks. Yeah. And then
there's some steel work done there.
Oh.
Listen, the hell with the crossing the Atlantic. I'd hire that guy tomorrow.
I'm not too sure about this.
WWE has a few spots available.
I'm not too sure about this end down here as far as it being like completely like I think a 6-foot reef shark could pretty much fucking go through one of those peace signs down there at the bottom.
Did he have radar on him? How would he have known he was on track to hit anything, and he wasn't just circling in the Atlantic?
He probably was just going up the coast. He could have went all the way up the coast to Nova Scotia, and then from there,
I could open this. I kind of admire this guy. I'm gonna open this.
See if we can get this motherfucker on.
Oh, by the way, this is his third intervention. He had similar voyages in the past that were intercepted. Mr. BLUECHEW's voyage began as officials were preparing for the arrival of a major hurricane. So
was I right on the foot?
You were right on the clouds. You've seen enough of them this year to know.
Every year, fuck.
Officials said he refused to step off the vessel, threatened to kill himself, and claimed to have a bomb on board.
Oh, that's way to fucking add the fucking injury. Oh, man.
Stand back. You'll be pelted by exercise ball rubber. Good God.
All that basically is saying is in like a paragraph form of him saying all those things is I'm Florida man.
That's it. That's what his T-shirt says.
Yeah, I'm Florida man. Okay, that's you don't have to say anything else, man. You don't have to say you have a bomb. You're just a fucking nut.
He when he was taken off and interviewed by authorities, he said that he was doing this to raise money for a variety of causes, including the Coast Guard. So that's kind of like Sheiky say, Sheiky helped the Coast Guard with the money.
Now maybe I get a free Heineken.
Yes. That phenomenal hero of mine. I hope he was ready for his 15 minutes of fame by manscaping, taking care of his business.
I don't know if anybody noticed, but the difference between the my beard with RJ as opposed to tonight, much tighter.
Was it because RJ got a little irritated and he needed you to trim?
I did a little scaping today.
Good for you. Football season is back. You know what that means. Touchdown dances, Sunday tailgates, epic fantasy showdowns. But fellas, let's not forget
getting your
the real.
balls gargled.
Forget the real. That's the halftime activity. The real MVP of the season is the all-new Beard Hedger. Kevin's talking about it right now. And it's in the Pro Kit by Manscaped, the Beard Hedger Pro Kit. It is your ultimate luxury beard grooming experience. This kit is your secret weapon for staying sharp on and off the field. Don't fumble this opportunity. Head to manscaped.com. Elevate your grooming game with the Beard Hedger Pro Kit. Join the 9 million men, worldwide who trust Manscaped. You heard that right. It's 9 million. You're going to get free shipping. You're going to get 20% off, and you can use the code KLIQ to do this. Okay, it's waterproofed. You can shave in the shower to avoid all that hair in the sink. It's a titanium-coated T-blade. It's tough on hair but smooth on your face, leading to single-stroke efficiency that brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. There are some liquid formulations you may enjoy as well, like the beard shampoo, the beard conditioner, beard oil, and beard balm. They're the key to feeling victorious. Get your 20% off, guys. Free shipping. Use that code KLIQ at manscaped.com.
It's crazy how that beard oil leads to proper prostate health. Just throwing it out there.
Okay. You get...
Forget to pack the Astroglide.
Use that beard oil substitute. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Manscaped. Ask Nash, everybody. We are back with Kliq This, the Kevin Nash podcast, and this is the Ask Nash segment. You can participate in this by using the hashtag AskNash on our social media, like Mark Capps did. He said, question for Kevin Sean. First car you ever owned and favorite car you ever owned?
Got owned or
I guess that was yours.
My first car was a Datsun 260Z.
Mine was a Datsun 280 SX.
Nice.
It was the hatchback.
Yeah, mine was too.
And the lights were like, they would pop up.
Mine didn't.
Yeah, little eyes.
Mine was a 74. It was the only, they made the 240Z. Then I think they made the 240 for 2 years. They made the 260, which I had, which was kind of the shits. And then they made the 280Z after that.
Yeah.
I almost bought a 280Z on Bring Your Trailer. It had 79,000 original miles, but it had been like completely redone. And I remember I drove the 260Z home with my girlfriend in college, Denise, and it was like my stepdad, worked for Ford. He's like, hey, parking that fucking piece of shit there.
I was going to ask you right now what happened at home. In Detroit, you're tooling around in a Datsun, bro.
My first, my first president that I voted for was a Republican, and my first car was Japanese.
I
changed.
I have a confession that my first election that I got to pull the lever for was Clinton Bush 1, and I did vote for Bush Senior in that election. Wasn't convinced on Clinton. Clinton was targeting my age group a little too heavily for my comfort level. I wanted him to be speaking to adults a little more than the time he was spending on MTV or playing the saxophone on Arsenio Hall. But you know what? He got my second vote because he proved himself to be an honorable man. The comparisons continue, Kevin.
Hell of a coxman.
Yeah, and listen, respect. On the Run Sleeping says, I've seen a few interviews. New Jack said he was supposed to be in WCW when Master P was there, but he said you kept him out because of his reputation. Sean spoke with him about a signing where y'all talked pick, etc. I don't know what that means. Did you like him as a talent, or did you think he was too crazy?
I met him. I met him one other time where like the boys were all in a bar somewhere, and I just said hey to him, and I saw him at like a Miami Comic-Con, and I said hi to him there, and he made like he said, we never met before. I said, yeah, I met you.
That's right.
I
remember that story.
He made like a big deal out of it.
He told it on one of my shows.
Yeah, whatever, dude. I was just trying. I mean,
what about the story about you having kept him out of WCW?
No.
Okay. OIF.
I didn't fucking. I didn't.
You kept everyone down, apparently.
Yeah, that's true. I guess once you go to that fucking, Jordan was a dick, and so was I.
It's good company, though.
Yeah.
Douglas D. Love, 09 vet,
myself there.
says, hey, hashtag Chet Lemon, Kevin Nash, you ever going to have Black Snow Booker T on Nash and Friends, two best commentators?
We talked about it earlier tonight. We talked about Booker T has actually joined Podcast Heat, which is our affiliation that we're with. So we're all in the same family, and I think that he wants me to be on his. And since we're the old school, I think it would be proper that.
You are the legend.
I'm more number one. First, I tell you this. Booker T, happy man, beautiful wife, beautiful children. I set him up with Charmel, the queen.
You did.
I did.
Beautiful.
I set up Booker T with his wife.
Well, he should show respect. He comes over to the Kevin Nash, not the Kevin Nash go to the Booker
over
T.
there. Or maybe I go over there, he bring the Heineken. And maybe the medicine. I know Booker T likes the medicine.
Shiki like St. Pauli girl or Molson, like the Canadian. Yeah. Love the Canadian beer he did.
He loved these and his Heinekens. Boy, he loved the Heinekens.
Someone from the audience, let's hear from you. What do you have? Jefferson Steele Kevin, my dad and I watch every week, and we always love your painting in the back.
Thank you.
So if you're just joining us, Jefferson, I don't know if I've seen the name. Welcome to the Kliq This TV. That was bought in. Kevin found an artist, a talented artist in
Czech Republic,
Bulgaria, who was one of the villages in Bulgaria, and she was doing interesting work.
I just saw she just came across my. We need to give her a shout out.
Well, she stopped following you, so I think you lose the shout out when you stop following Kevin Nash. Didn't that happen?
Yeah, I think. I don't know if she got too much work. I don't know.
Too much work. But she should show the respect for the legend, the real Detroit basketball legend.
Maybe when I tell her, artwork is one thing, but maybe you do the arch.
Maybe you do the job for Shiki.
Maybe you do the job for Kevy.
Sheik is one of those guys who's a worker through and through. You couldn't talk to him without using the vernacular. He said, Wendy Richter, she got a heat with me because she come to my room, she use my medicine, she drink the beer, and I say, Wendy, maybe you do the job for Shiki. And she say, no, and she leave my room. I never let her back. What else from the house? Let's see what we got here. James Bedford, what was your experience in your film debut as Super Shredder in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2? Popped as a kid when I read Kevin Nash in the credits. Did you have to take any bumps crushing the dock?
I had to take a bump when the dock crushed me, like when they caved the dock on me. I had to. They only had one shot because they weren't going to knock that fucker down twice. They're like, and they're like. Just like bumbling around me. They're like, how protective do you think that helmet is you have on? And I'm like, well, it's just like fucking fiberglass. Why? Would you be opposed because there's like no way we could stunt you or build like no? It's like if we cave this set on top of you.
Ugh.
And I'm like, well, a lot of it's balsa. I said, Terry Leonard was over, and like I could see Terry Leonard over there. Because he was second unit, was going to shoot it, and he went like this.
Oh, ask for
and I said,
bonus or something?
I said, would I get a stun adjustment? And they said, well, of course. And then they offered me a stun adjustment. It was like $1,200, something like that. I was just like, yeah, yeah, you can crash this motherfucker on me.
And you did it.
Yeah. And then the dramatic when Shredder's hand comes through. Fuck! When I saw that, I said, "How does somebody not see that and see Olivier?" I mean, it was just there. It was just fucking there. I thought after that fucking just that dramatic, I thought like fucking, this is it. I'll never wrestle again.
Another question from the house. Jefferson Steele, I always wondered what was Scott's favorite movie. Anything he referenced, quoted?
He always talked about leaving Las Vegas.
I think you told me that, yeah.
But Scarface, of course, is numero uno.
The bad guy.
The man played the. I mean,
exactly. How could it not be?
Yeah, right.
Fernham Schnavitz, who's the best rock singer ever? Questions for both Kevin and Sean. I love Cornell and Plant.
Did you say Plant?
He said, I love Cornell. That's Fernham.
Oh, I love Robert Plant.
Of course. Gotta be, right? That's the rock front man. You need a few things, right? You need the rock voice. You need the swag. You need the attitude. And you got to look good on stage. Yeah. Plant checks all the boxes. Roth's voice wasn't very strong, but he had the front man thing down.
I think that Lane, Cornell, Kurt, and Eddie for that era of like grunge. Those are the four top.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I'll put Scott Weiland in there. I thought Scott Weiland was a good front guy.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody, because me and my son would have this conversation, will fucking argue that there may be a lot of great frontmen, but there's nobody that you can arguably say is better than Huey Lewis.
It's because he's got the power of love.
Oh, me and my son used to fight. It was always like we always be, who's greater, Beatles, Huey Lewis? Well, fucking Huey Lewis.
That's so great. That was the ongoing joke.
Ongoing joke. And the only reason he even knew who Huey Lewis was from American Psycho.
Oh my God, you're kidding.
That's the only reason he knew. And then for years he always said the heart of rock and roll is still beating. And he thought that they were saying it was dead. Heart of rock and roll dead. He thought and then finally he was little, you know. That's of course I'm let my kid watch let my kid watch some sociopath bang some broad from behind. He's 9 years old.
You know, I was watching one of those VH1 like This Is the 80s shows or whatever back in the day, and I can't remember which musician or comedian said it, but they were talking about that song, Heart of Rock and Roll, and he goes, you know, if the heart of rock and roll was still beating when that song came out, it stopped the minute it got played on the radio.
I used to always like anything because Detroit gets a fucking good...
Detroit, big sell on that.
Detroit! Heart of rock and roll. Cleveland!
Germinator 356. Big fan of the Kliq This podcast. I'm finally getting a vacation from work, but I can't decide where to go. As someone who's been all over the world, I wanted to ask Kevin Nash, what's the best place to visit?
Well, I mean, I don't know what their parameters are, what they want to do.
Well, let's give them a couple of tiers. Here's the A tier.
Go to Amsterdam. Go into the Van Gogh Museum. Go out. Go to a coffee shop. Get completely baked, and then go back into the Van Gogh. That's a good opening day. That's your opening day. That night.
Why the two visits to the Van Gogh? Just to compare the experiences?
Yeah, because it's so different, like completely baked.
Gotcha.
It's like, I love impressionistic art. And I was actually talking to my wife about this because she's a huge Monet fan. And I would say I'm more Monet than I am Van Gogh, because Van Gogh's work is so, I mean, if you take like that, remember when Lord of the Rings first went to paperback, and the three copies were all they were Van Gogh paintings. The covers were Van Gogh paintings, and they were haunting, to where even like if you take like House of Parliament from Monet, and even if it's the nighttime version of the paintings, they're not haunting. They're kind of peaceful, restful, quiet. I don't know, just a different. That's why you go stone, because you have this kind of fucking.
Well, you also
your brain. This is how your brain works after you fucking log.
You also just, in the vein of I'm a little bit country, he's a little bit rock and roll, you said you're a little more Monet than you are Van Gogh.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that's the first time that's ever left Kevin Nash's lips. Certainly never heard it in a promo in the ring.
No, but that's just me.
So go ahead.
So that's one. And then of course, there's women of the evening. If you're a single guy, you get to do that. There's some great food. It's just it's a very chill. That's like a 4-day trip. Get the fuck out of there.
There you go. So Germinator, maybe.
So that's one. This time of year right now, like there's some like little gems of cities in Florida, like Seaside, watercolor Seaside in the Panhandle. They've got this road called Scenic 98 that's got some incredible like balsamis and fish out of water. Watercolor's got a great restaurant, and there's some really good little eateries, and the most beautiful powder. Like Rosemary Beach is about as beautiful a beach as you're going to see. The dunes, and you don't want to go into Destin to that whole fucking vibe there. You just want to stay Seaside, watercolors, that way out towards Rosemary Beach is gorgeous. That's kind of a, if you're just looking for someplace. And then, I mean, there used to be like so many choices, I mean, I was one of those guys that I still think Seattle's a really cool fucking city, and you don't feel like you don't feel like you're gonna get shot in the fucking back of your head when you go there. And there's still the markets. There's still really good restaurants. The Hendrix Museum's kind of a chill place to get stoned. And it's nice to carry that on and go up to Space Needle and have a fucking espresso and kind of feel that fucking Jetsons, like fucking 60s vibe while having an espresso.
Well, there you go.
You can, at nighttime, you can go, and there's still, like, where all the grunge started, man, there's still a lot of places to see live music and see a lot of fucking cover bands of that era. So that's three choices.
That's very good. Very, very. We provide a service here. You never know what you're going to get. You know what? I was surprised. Your wife's a Monet fan. I'm sure she's been to the MoMA, Museum of Modern Art, and seen water lilies in person. I had no idea.
You have to go
so big.
You have to go to the Tate. If you go to the Tate in London, there's a water lilies in there that I swear to you is 30 fucking feet long.
Yeah, it must have traveled because I saw it here in New York. It's the whole. Well,
it's unbelievable.
I just assumed it was always just a painting, but it's a whole fucking thing. So impressive.
But there's like a whole series of water lilies. There's
many.
Yeah, no,
many
there's
water
many.
lilies.
There's many. There's the one in the Tate is fucking that thing don't travel nowhere, because and when you walk in and you look at that, you fucking you look to your right and you probably see the biggest Jackson Pollock you'll ever see, and it's I would say that it would be a gray, black, white kind of orientated Pollock, but it's one of the largest.
So one of the
Pollocks.
really busy ones, like
crazy,
a lot going on,
crazy, and but if you go to the modern art, I mean, that's where you'll see all of that Picasso work before Cubism.
Mm-hmm.
You see that painting with the army tank, and it's crushing over the soldiers and
Guernica. Guernica,
yeah, and it's God, what's the one that I love that's there?
You hear everybody tuning out. I hear everybody leaving.
Everybody's tuning out right now
as we're doing Picasso. We're covering Monet. Tell us about when Ahmed Johnson took a shit in the ring.
Fuck that shit, man. Tell us about why you hate Trump.
All right, what do you want to ask about, audience? Give us a couple more. We would have just talked about art for another 2 hours.
Matisse. That's what I was trying to think of. Matisse.
Fuck the signing. Let's go to the museum on Saturday. Let's blow off the fucking thing.
Fuck,
let's run into the city, get a steak.
Don't even tempt me.
Get a drink at the Warwick.
We'll go to Luger's for Scott.
We'll hit Brooklyn. Do a little Peter Luger.
Yeah.
Toast to Scott. What do we got? Give me a question out here. Here we go. Jen Vargo. Some of you all know that September's a shitty month with my mom's anniversary of her passing. Oh, okay. And her birthday a week apart. Just wanted to say thanks to this crew for giving me some light. My mom's birthday is also in September. She's alive. I haven't.
My mom's birthday was in September. She's.
Well, Jen, that's part of what we do here. Try to entertain you guys and engage you. So
you know what I say, Jen, though, and I say this because I've had so much death in my life, that when it's almost a blessing to have had such a fantastic mother, that her loss is so monumental. And it's so, because, and I use the term a lot, and I probably overuse it, but it's the yin to the yang. It's just like, you can't have the love that you have for your mom and not, there's the payoff is the hurt, because they're not going to be around forever.
Not to get too introspective, but I was talking to somebody today who was telling me a particularly harrowing story about their mother's passing and the mother's illness and a protracted illness and brain cancer, the whole thing. And I just stopped, and I texted Todd something about an appearance, and he was scheduled for Saturday, actually, in Jersey. And he wrote me, he said, I just got word my sister died. I don't know what I'm going to be able to do on Saturday. And I just fucking sat there and I said, do you think it's 50-50? Do you think that there is as much death, illness, tragedy? We force ourselves to look at the other stuff, the stuff that makes us laugh, the stuff that distracts us. But if we took an honest surveillance around us, is there as much suffering as there is happiness? And we live in a 50-50.
I don't even
just
think
choose to ignore it.
I don't even think it's 50-50.
Really?
I think we fucking live in the Alamo. I think we live in the Alamo, man. I think fucking, I feel at 64 years old that I'm fucking David Bowie sitting in the fucking bed waiting for the fucking bayonet. It's just fuck. We talked about today the kid in Philadelphia just getting shot point blank by a police officer for fucking erratic driving, and it was so erratic that he fucking walked in front of his fucking car to shoot him. Walked in front of his fucking car around to the passenger window and shot him. How fucking erratic are you driving? I mean, that's the world we live in. I think that if you fucking sit and really absorb what's going on, and one of the biggest problems we've got right now is, man, there is so much AI fucking bullshit that's being dumped in our laps that we don't know. There was just one that this person put on Instagram the other day, and it's Rogan. And Rogan's got he's talking to somebody, and they're talking about they found in the fucking jungles of fucking Mexico, Nazi U-boat with the full crew and all this shit, and they uncovered this onto this, and then the guy comes up and he goes, "That's an AI. Like that whole thing's an AI." And I'm watching it, go, "What the fuck is he? What? Never heard any of this shit." And we have to start looking at everything.
With a skeptical eye.
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and going into this fucking, this cycle, I mean, people that just, the Republican Party can shut the government down as a ploy to make it look like Biden is trying to fix shit. Biden is spending way too much fucking money. Everybody's like, sooner or later you have to fix the infrastructure or shit just is going to fucking collapse. And he's trying to fix it. It's going to dump in Trump's lap. But don't fucking let people fucking... Is he old? Fuck yeah, is he old? Do I want to vote for him? Fuck no, I don't want to vote for him. But I don't want to vote for somebody that's fucking basically is going to be banned from doing business in New York City. That's going to fucking... I just ask yourself this. How many people do you know whose children's homes are in LLCs? Not estate plan. They're in LLCs. Like, come on, man. Like, I get it. I get it. The old man, but I don't understand why we can't get Newsom and get fucking Whitmire from fucking Michigan and fucking, like, why doesn't Biden and fucking Harris realize that they're not the best viable candidates for the Democratic Party at this juncture? Why don't they take one for the team? Everybody's talking about fucking the little fucking penguin they just caught with the $500,000 and the fucking Mercedes, the senator from Jersey.
Oh, Menendez.
Yeah. And everybody's saying, hey, man, you should resign. You should resign. Yeah, Franken did that. Franken did the exact same thing. Fuck you. Whatever. It's okay for Trump. Trump ain't fucking resigning. Trump will run he'll run the goddamn country from prison. And that's, you know what? That's American. That's what Americans do. They're not fucking cunts.
All right. Well, I look at Biden as more of a Monet, and Trump.
I look at Trump as more of a fucking Dolly. It's surrealism.
But not even the painting. It would be like the lobster phone or some sculpture. Folks, it is my duty to tell you that Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media and the Museum of Modern Art, produced in association with Podcast Heat, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, Sean Oliver, and Mark Rothko,
and the Iron
Steve
Sheik
Kaufman, and graphics by the Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and the audio edit by the Wesley Barson, a theme song by the Dale Olivier, and the technical research by the Tristan Nash. Rest in peace. Copyright 2023, Butch and Sundance Media. Kevin, big man, do you want to do another?
I'll do it if you bring the medicine, Mr. Oliver.
Medicine will be there, and
you do the job.
And the Jade will do the arch.
She'll do the job.
The customer service never answers the